The Defenders. Marvel and Netflix have been building the Defenders up ever since Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Daredevil Season 2, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, and now we finally have the team up that they've been building up ever since then with the Defenders, and this show knocked it out of the park. The Defenders is an example of how you do a comic book crossover with these characters that you've been building up since the first show, and now you finally come to this one show that only has a few episodes, but even then, this show still kicks a lot of butt, and the build up was very worth it, and I feel that even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Iron Fist, that show was very mediocre and disappointing. The build up I was still anticipated for the Defenders, even though I didn't watch the show on the first day that they released it on Netflix, but I still would wanted to wait until the right time, and now after watching all four of these shows, and now seeing all four of these characters come together for the first time and their team up, it was pretty awesome to see. I know this is very obvious, but it reminded me a lot of the Avengers, where you get to see Iron Man, Cap, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, all coming together for the first time, and their interactions and their banters were the best parts of that movie, besides all the action and stuff in New York and the aliens and the fighting and all the other great stuff. The interaction with the characters for the first time, their banters with each other, especially with Tony and Cap, Thor and Hulk, their interactions were but easily my favorite part of the Avengers, and the interaction between Matt Murdock slash Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Danny Rand slash Iron Fist is my favorite part of the Defenders. My favorite character interaction has to be between Danny Rand and Luke Cage. Those two interactions is easily my favorite because their interaction is so hilarious when they first meet each other. They just get into this fight, and then when, since Luke Cage has unbreakable skin, Daniel Rand uses his Iron Fist and punch Luke Cage, and Luke Cage got Falcon Punch or Iron Punch, which was awesome to see. I remember when I saw the trailer for the show. When I saw that in the trailer, I'm like, whoa, that just not just happened. That, I was not expecting that, but it happened, and it really was like, okay, like, this is gonna be a pretty awesome show. And I also do like to point out, since Claire also brought these characters together, since she popped up in all of these guys' shows, and how she brought Iron Fist and Luke Cage together. I did her first interaction after that is just hilarious, and just when Claire and Colleen was in the middle of it, that scene alone is just hilarious. And when Danny Rand also says that I am the immortal Iron Fist, which is a running gag in the show where he constantly says that, which we're just like, okay, we get it, you said it many times, which I was like, I said that while watching Iron Fist, like, okay, dude, you said that many times, and it did that in the show, which I was like, yeah, because they know Iron Fist wasn't all that great. Finn Jones does a better job as Iron Fist than his own show in this series, because he had a lot more charisma, and his interaction between Luke Cage is just awesome. Finn Jones, I actually legitimately like him in the show. Like, Finn Jones as Danny Rand, he was cool, even though he did say, I am the immortal Iron Fist 50 million times. I actually like Danny Rand. I legitimately like him, even though he wasn't all that great in his solo show. He was great in this. Matt and Jessica definitely had their moments as well. Their interaction is very good. And also, Matt Murdock's subplot, as for Daredevil, he's trying to quit being Daredevil. Boggy and Karen are really trying to, like, hey dude, you can't keep doing this. You gotta go live your life as a lawyer or a life as a vigilante in Hell's Kitchen. That subplot for Matt and that struggle with him, especially since they kind of like teased that and built that up in season 2 of Daredevil, was very good, and I'm glad they could continue that in Defenders, especially with Matt's struggle of him wanting to be Daredevil or not, especially the fact that he has to protect the city from the Hand. He has to do this job, at the same time he really wants to fall back, but he can't. That struggle within Matt Murdock is definitely one of my favorite aspects of this show, and with the character of Matt. slash Daredevil. Daredevil is, of course, one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. I love Daredevil so much. And seeing him getting what he deserved ever since we got that mediocre film back in 2003. I'm glad that Marvel and Netflix finally get a fantastic portrayal of the Man Without Fear. I also love the fact that when these characters first meet each other, they don't really trust each other. They are really unsure about each other. They don't know if they're on their side, and they don't know if they're on the side for their hand. They don't know if they're working for each other or they're working against each other. Each of these characters, they're kind of like keeping an eye on each other, saying like, hey, even though we're fighting together, I don't know if you might backstab me, because these characters are really, they don't even consider themselves to be heroes. They're just people that get the job done and they move on with their lives. And that's what Jessica Jones said in the show. We get this stuff done, then we move on with our lives. And that is also a great aspect of the show, because the show is just, I love the Defenders so much. But I will gotta admit, the show has some problems. I'll get to the problems very soon. And in the show, the Defenders are faced off against the Hand, also Shao, and also Elektra, who has been resurrected and has been controlled by Sigourney Weaver's character, who Sigourney Weaver does a fantastic job in the show. And I love how she is a villain. She is an antagonist who is afraid of dying, because usually villains, they don't care if they live or die or not. They don't care. But Sigourney Weaver's character, she actually cares about her life. She cares whether she lives or dies. Like, that was very interesting about her character, and it makes her character, it makes her character almost sympathetic. I will, in a way, I don't know what else to describe it, but it makes me feel bad for her. It makes me say, like, hey, she doesn't want to die. Like, even though she's not a good person, she actually doesn't, she wants to live. And that part about her character adds some layers to her. And that was great writing right there. Great writing right there with Marvel and Netflix. I don't know if anybody caught on in this, but I did when I first watched the show last night. But each scene where they show like Iron Fist, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage in their separate scenes, it has like a color tint which matches the character's colors. For example, Jessica Jones' color is purple. A scene with Jessica Jones, the show will have like a purple tint. A scene with Daredevil or Matt Murdock, the show will have a red tint. A scene with Iron Fist, the show will have a green tint. And a scene with Luke Cage will have a yellow tint. I don't know if anybody else caught on in that, but I did. But that was a very clever move that Marvel and Netflix did. And my favorite episode has to be the Royal Dragon, where we get to see Matt, Luke Cage, Jessica, Stick, and Danny, and their interaction and their chemistry was very on point and on par. And that episode alone just shows great writing and great performances as well, where it's like, man, of like a character that has a red devil suit, iron glowing fist, an alcoholic, and a black guy who has unbreakable skin, and an elderly blind man. They made this one great episode. I'm like, wow. And it's based on a Marvel comic. And it's just like, man, like, Marvel, you're doing a great job. And Netflix, you're doing a great job. And I wish we get to see season 2, but I don't think we will. But if we only just get these first 8 episodes, then I'm honestly fine with that. I gotta talk about my negatives, even though I do love this show. The first 8 episodes to be exact. I gotta talk about my negatives, my cons with the show. Even though that the interaction between Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist is just fantastic and just beautiful. One of the best parts about the show. I feel like the interaction with their supporting characters in each of their shows could be it could be very distracting, like Foggy Nelson and Karen from Daredevil, Misty and Claire from Luke Cage, or Claire from all the other shows, but Misty from Luke Cage, Colleen from Iron Fist, and Malcolm and Trish from Jessica Jones. Each of these characters now interacting with each other. They're just like, hey, Jessica Jones and Daredevil and Iron Fist and Luke Cage, they're interacting with each other. Why let's let these supporting characters interact with each other? Actually, I don't really think that's a negative, but it's very distracting. Like, there's a scene where Trish and Karen are talking, and there's a scene where Misty and Foggy and Colleen and Misty, and I'm like at the point where like, okay, this is kind of getting too distracting. I don't know if that's really a negative, but to me, it was very distracting. And the finale is where the building is collapsing because of the bomb in the building from the hand, and Matt is sacrificing himself so he can save Elektra, and we all assume that Matt is dead, but he is saved somehow in the final episode of the show, and that is going to lead up to season 3 for Daredevil, which I'm hearing that it's going to be the Born Again storyline, which I'm very, very excited to see that, to see how they're going to do that. But the cliffhanger in the show, though, got me like, oh crap, season 3 of Daredevil is going to be awesome, and I have a feeling it will be. Overall, guys, The Defenders was a ton of fun. I had a blast watching the show. I actually wouldn't mind re-binge watch the show just to see these character interactions again. And I'm fine with having these characters just be on Netflix and have their own shows, because I feel like if they ever get their movies, besides Daredevil, since they have his movie, which sucked, I feel like their movies probably, they would have been good, they would have been great, but not as great of what they got with their solo shows, with the exception of Iron Fist and The Defenders as well. I'm glad that they actually have a Netflix TV shows on Netflix. I don't know why I said that, but I'm actually glad for what we got with their shows that are on Netflix, and hopefully they'll continue this. We get to see more Marvel characters that we haven't seen yet, that if they won't make it to the MCU films, they'll probably make it to Netflix or get the Netflix treatment. And hopefully Marvel continue that, because I actually would love to see that. And overall, guys, The Defenders, I love it. It's a ton of fun, and I have some issues with it. Only that little nitpick that I have, but other than that, The Defenders, guys, is awesome. But to be honest with you, it's almost kind of sad that a Netflix show that has 8 episodes with one iconic character and 3 B-list characters is much better than a $300 million budget film with iconic character that is a complete cluster mess and one of the most disappointing movies I've ever seen. That's pretty sad. I'm gonna give The Defenders an A-. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I honestly mean it, even though not all of you watch my videos, even though I don't get the highest views. Thank you for watching anyway, and hitting that subscribe button, and liking my videos, and sharing and stuff. It means a lot to me, and I'm getting close to 400 subscribers. That is just, I'm blessed. I'm honestly blessed. Just me talking about comic book stuff, and movies, and shows, and nerdy stuff, and vlogging at cons and conventions. It means a lot to me that people enjoy my hobbies. They enjoy watching the things that I love to do, and things that I'm passionate about. It means a lot to me. It does, and I feel very humble about that. And Infinity War is coming out next Friday, and I cannot believe that. I honestly cannot believe that. Oh my god, this movie is coming by so fast. Like, where does the time go? Like, I remember when they first announced this movie, and now it's coming in next Friday. Like, what's going on? But anyways, let me know that you guys think of The Defenders in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, if you are new to my channel and you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.